Okay, get this. What if you could build a complex software platform not in 6 months, but in 30 minutes? Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, today, we're diving into a technology that's making that a reality. Welcome to the autonomous engineering revolution. This one image pretty much tells the entire story. On the left, you've got the old way of building software. Chaotic, expensive, a whole team of people. And on the right, that's the new way. A single AI agent that takes a simple prompt and just builds a fully functional platform. It's not just a small step up, it's a completely different game.
And I'm not just talking in metaphors here. This is a very real shift in time and money. A typical software project could easily take 6 months and cost you up to $400,000. With autonomous engineering, that whole process gets squeezed down into just 30 minutes. I mean, it's a leap in efficiency that's almost hard to wrap your head around.
So the huge question is, how on earth is this possible? What's the secret sauce here? How do you really go from months of human effort to just minutes of computation? Well, the answer is a new kind of AI, and it's one that completely changes the relationship between us and the machine. We're not just getting a slightly better assistant here. We're literally moving from an AI Copilot to a true AI Autopilot. At the heart of all this is a technology called a deep agent. Now, the best way to think about it is as an embodied engineer. This isn't just an AI that suggests a few lines of code. No. Powered by massive models, this agent lives inside a virtual environment where it can understand goals, design the architecture, write all the logic, and then deploy the entire system all by itself.
And that distinction is just absolutely crucial. An AI Copilot, that's like having a smart navigator in your passenger seat. It gives you suggestions, but you're still the one driving. The AI Autopilot, on the other hand, is the driver. You just tell it the destination, and it handles everything else, from starting the car to parking it perfectly.
Okay, so how does an AI actually build, and maybe more importantly, how does it fix software all on its own? The process is actually pretty elegant when you see it in action.
It's all built around this brilliant idea called the self-healing loop. So first, the agent writes the code based on what you ask for. Then, bam, it deploys it into a safe, sandboxed environment. Now, here's the magic part. It starts watching the system logs all by itself, actively looking for errors. When it finds one, it reads it, understands what went wrong, rewrites its own code to fix it, and redeploys. It's a constant cycle.
And here's the perfect way to describe it. This loop is basically mimicking what the very best human developers do, a practice called test-driven development. But the difference is speed. A human might take hours, maybe days, to track down a tough bug. The deep agent does it in seconds. It runs that write, test, fix cycle thousands of times faster than any person possibly could.
But okay, what about all the old, clunky software already out there? You can't just throw it away. That's where this really clever strategy called the Strangler Fig Pattern comes in. Think of it like a new vine growing over an old tree. You use these AI agents to build new, modern features that just wrap around the edges of your old system. And over time, these new services get stronger. They take on more and more tasks until eventually the old system is just painlessly phased out underneath. It's genius.
All right, enough theory. What can this technology actually do for a business, like right now? Let's look at 3 really valuable problems that you can solve in minutes instead of months.
First up, financial intelligence. Imagine just telling an agent, hey, build me a system that watches tech stocks, and if any of them drop by 5%, send an alert to my team. The agent just does it. It builds a 24/7 monitor that plugs into financial data streams and follows your rules perfectly. No need for anyone to sit there and watch a screen.
Next, let's talk about a problem that every single business deals with: messy data. An agent can use AI vision to look at thousands of different invoices, receipts, random PDFs, you name it. It can identify the key info like dates and amounts, no matter how weird the layout is, and then put all of it into a perfectly clean, structured database. It basically solves the garbage in, garbage out problem automatically.
And finally, creating chatbots that are actually smart. You know how most bots forget who you are the second the chat ends? Well, an autonomous agent can build a system with long-term memory. It uses something called a vector database, which helps the AI understand the meaning and context of your past conversations. This creates a real concierge experience where the bot actually remembers you, just like a great human account manager would. So, the economic impact of all this, it's just staggering. For routine back-end development, the digital plumbing of software, we're talking about an estimated cost reduction of around 90%. This frees up human engineers to stop doing repetitive work and start focusing on the creative, high-level architecture and the really unique business problems that only humans can solve.
And believe it or not, we're just getting started. The roadmap for these autonomous agents shows this really fascinating evolution of their abilities over just the next 3 years.
So right now, in 2025, we're at software autonomy. By 2026, the expectation is to see embodied intelligence. That's where these agents can actually interface with and control physical hardware. Think IoT devices, think robotics. And then, by 2027, the goal is self-improving systems. We're talking about agents that don't just fix their own bugs, but actually rewrite their own code to get faster and more efficient, all without any human telling them to.
Of course, with all of this power and autonomy, you have to be thinking about safety. And that's where an essential brake pedal comes in, the human-in-the-loop safeguard. For any really high-risk action, like say deleting a database or issuing a huge refund, the agent has to stop and get explicit approval from a person. It ensures that all this speed doesn't come at the cost of security.
And that leaves us with a really big, fundamental question. When AI can handle the how of building software, the coding, the deploying, the fixing, the role of the human engineer has to transform. So what does that leave for us? What becomes the new focus for our own ingenuity, our creativity? Honestly, that's the question that's going to define the entire next decade of technology.